Every day, your mind gives you instructions. Sometimes it says, do the work. Other times it whispers, maybe tomorrow. Sometimes it pushes you forward. Sometimes it pulls you back. And the direction of your life depends on which voice you choose to follow. Most people want success. They want a better future, better health, better finances, better opportunities. But wanting is not enough, because success isn't determined by what you want. It's determined by what you repeatedly do. And what you repeatedly do is controlled by your mind. Success is predictable. It isn't luck, and it isn't magic. It's hard work and discipline. Now understand something important. Discipline doesn't begin in your schedule. It begins in your thinking. Before you can discipline your actions, you must first discipline your mind. Because every action starts as a thought. A thought becomes a decision becomes an action becomes a habit, and a habit becomes your future. That's why mastering your mind matters so much. If you can't control your thoughts, you'll struggle to control your life. If you can't direct your attention, you'll drift wherever distraction leads you. And if you can't overcome your excuses will overcome your dreams. Think about how many opportunities are lost every day. Not because people lack talent, and not because they lack potential, but because they lose the battle inside their own minds. The battle against procrastination, the battle against fear, the battle against doubt, the battle against comfort. And comfort is dangerous, because comfort whispers, take it easy. You can do it later. One day won't matter. But successful people understand something different. Small choices matter. Small disciplines matter. Small actions matter. Success is built one disciplined decision at a time. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Now imagine what happens when you train your mind. When you stop listening to excuses, stop negotiating with your goals, stop letting temporary feelings control permanent decisions. Everything begins to change. Your focus grows stronger. Your confidence grows. Your habits improve. And your results follow, because a disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. We're going to explore how to discipline your mind for success, how to take control of your thoughts, how to overcome mental weakness, how to build unstoppable focus, and how to become the kind of person who follows through no matter what. Because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thinking. When you master your mind, you begin to master your future. Control your thoughts, control your actions, control your destiny. Because success begins in the mind long before it ever appears in reality. The greatest victory in life isn't over the world outside of you. It's over the world inside of you. Think about that. Every person you see who is struggling isn't first struggling with life. They're struggling with their thinking, because everything in life begins in the mind. Every action, every habit, every result. It all starts there, quietly, internally. You cannot change your life until you change your thinking. The battle within, understand this clearly. Inside every person, there's a constant battle. A battle between discipline and distraction. A battle between focus and fear. A battle between growth and comfort. And every day, one side wins. If discipline wins, you move forward. If excuses win, you stay the same. There is no middle ground. You are either training your mind, or your mind is training you. Most people don't realize this. They think their problem is external, their job, their situation, their circumstances. But the real problem is internal. It's how they think about those things. Change the way you think, and you change the direction of your life. Think of your mind like a leader. If the leader is weak, the whole life becomes weak. If the leader is confused, the whole life becomes confused. If the leader is undisciplined, everything becomes unstable. And that leader is your mind. So the first responsibility in life isn't changing the world, it's mastering yourself. Let's go deeper. Every thought you allow becomes a suggestion. Every suggestion you accept becomes a belief. Every belief you repeat becomes a habit. And every habit shapes your future. That's how powerful your mind is. And if you're not careful, your mind will accept anything. Doubt, fear, excuses, negativity. And once those thoughts are repeated long enough, they begin to feel true, even when they aren't. A thought repeated often enough becomes a belief, and a belief shapes your destiny. Here's the truth most people ignore. You cannot always control what enters your mind, but you can control what stays there. That's where discipline begins. Discipline isn't just about action, it's about mental control. Refusing to entertain weak thoughts, refusing to repeat excuses, refusing to accept limitations. Because what you allow in your mind will eventually show up in your life. Now imagine a person who has mastered their mind. They don't panic under pressure. They don't quit when things get difficult. They don't listen to every negative thought. They respond with discipline, with clarity, with control. And slowly, their life begins to change. Not because the world changed, but because they changed. The strongest people aren't those who never struggle. They're the ones who win the battle within. So if you want success, start here, inside your mind. Because if you can win here, you can win anywhere. Master your mind, control your thoughts, and you begin to control your future. Success is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Where discipline begins, discipline doesn't begin with your hands. It doesn't begin with your habits. It begins with your mind. Because every action you take was first a thought you allowed. And if you can't control your thinking, you'll struggle to control your life. Your mind is always active, always talking, always suggesting, always influencing. Sometimes it pushes you toward growth. Sometimes it's toward and the battle of success is deciding which voice you'll follow. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. Let's be honest. Most people aren't failing because they don't know what to do. They're failing because they can't make themselves do it consistently. They know the right actions, but they delay, they hesitate, they overthink. They wait for the right moment, and that moment rarely comes. Because a mind without discipline always finds excuses. It's too hard. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. Just one more day won't hurt. And slowly, tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And nothing changes. Not because life stopped them, but because their mind was never trained. You are not controlled by your situation. You are controlled by your thinking. So how do you discipline your mind? First, you must learn to take control of your thoughts. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every idea deserves action. Not every feeling deserves obedience. Some thoughts must be ignored. Some must be replaced. Some must be challenged. Because if you let every thought lead you, you'll lose direction. Think about successful people. They don't obey every impulse. They don't act on every emotion. They don't follow every distraction. They choose. They decide. They control. That is discipline. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Discipline is built in small moments. Discipline isn't built in big moments. It's built in small ones. It's built when you wake up and still get to work. It's built when you study even when you don't feel like it. It's built when you push forward even when motivation is low. Every small decision trains your mind either toward discipline or toward weakness. There is no neutral. Every time you give in to an excuse, you strengthen it. Every time you resist one, you weaken it. Over time, your mind is shaped by repetition. Listen carefully. You don't need a perfect mind to start. You need a willing mind, a mind that says, I will not negotiate with my goals. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about direction. A disciplined mind doesn't always feel strong, but it chooses strength anyway. It doesn't always feel motivated, but it acts anyway. It doesn't always feel ready, but it starts anyway. Action is the cure for doubt. Every time you delay what you know you should do, you weaken your mind. But every time you act despite resistance, you strengthen it. That's how discipline is built. Not in comfort, but in resistance. Not in ease, but in effort. The quality of your life won't be determined by what you know. It will be determined by what you consistently do. And what you consistently do is controlled by your mind. So, discipline your thoughts, discipline your attention, discipline your decisions. Because when your mind becomes disciplined, your life begins to follow. Master the mind and you master the life. Think clearly. Decide firmly. Act consistently, because success begins when your mind stops negotiating and starts leading. The power of daily habits success isn't built in a day. It's built in what you do every day. Most people underestimate the power of daily habits. They think success comes from one big moment, one big opportunity, one big breakthrough. But that's not how life works. Success isn't a single event, it's a pattern of discipline, a pattern of consistency, a pattern of small actions repeated over time. What you do daily becomes who you become. Not occasionally, not sometimes, daily, because repetition shapes identity. If you repeat discipline, you become disciplined. If you repeat effort, you become strong. If you repeat focus, you become focused. But the same is true in the opposite direction. If you repeat laziness, you become lazy. If you repeat excuses, you become weak. If you repeat distraction, you lose direction. That's why daily discipline is so powerful. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about who you're becoming. Successful people aren't always more talented or more gifted. They're simply more consistent. They show up when others don't. They work when others wait. They continue when others quit. Over time, that consistency becomes their advantage. Daily discipline is built through simple actions, not complicated ones. Waking up on time, reading and learning daily, working on your goals every day, practicing your skills regularly, staying focused on your priorities. These are simple things, but powerful when repeated, because greatness isn't built by intensity alone. It's built by consistency. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to do the right things daily. Even small progress matters. Even small improvement matters. Even small discipline matters. Because small actions compound. And over time, small actions become big results. Think about a seed. It doesn't become a tree overnight. It grows slowly, quietly, consistently, day after day, without noise, without attention, without recognition. But because it's consistent, it becomes strong. That's how your life works too. You may not see results immediately, but every disciplined action is building something inside you. Strength, character, skill, confidence, momentum. And eventually, those invisible efforts become visible results. What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. Here's a truth many people miss. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. And your system is your daily discipline. If your system is weak, your results will be weak. If your system is strong, your future will be strong. So ask yourself honestly, what are your daily habits creating? Are they building your success or delaying it? Every day, you're either moving closer to your goals or farther away. There is no standing still. So choose discipline, choose consistency, choose daily action. Because success isn't created in bursts, it's created in habits. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Commit to daily discipline, even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when you don't feel like it. Because what feels small today becomes unstoppable tomorrow. Stay consistent, stay disciplined, stay committed. Your daily actions are quietly building the life you will one day live. The trap of excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Most people don't fail suddenly. They fail gradually, slowly, quietly, through small excuses repeated over time. I'm too tired. I don't feel like it. I'll do it later. It's not the right time. At first, these sound harmless, even reasonable. But over time, they become a pattern. And that pattern becomes a life. Your life doesn't improve when your excuses improve. It improves when your discipline improves. Mental weakness isn't something you're born with. It's something you allow, something you repeat, something you practice. And like any habit, it grows stronger with repetition. Every time you give in to an excuse, you teach your mind a lesson. That's acceptable, that's normal, that's who I am. And slowly, your potential gets buried under comfort. Successful people aren't free from excuses. They're just better at rejecting them. They feel the same resistance, the same tiredness, the same doubt. But they respond differently. They don't negotiate with their goals. They don't surrender to comfort. They don't obey every feeling. They act. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Excuses always sound logical in the moment, but they always lead to regret later. That's the trap, because the mind will always try to protect comfort, even at the cost of your future. So you must become aware, deeply aware, because excuses aren't loud. They're subtle. They sound like reason, but they're really resistance in disguise. Ask yourself honestly, how many dreams have been delayed, not by failure, but by excuses? How many goals have been postponed, not because they were impossible, but because they were uncomfortable? Here's a truth most people avoid. You don't need more motivation. You need less negotiation with yourself, less delays, less hesitation, less justification. A weak mind always negotiates. A strong mind decides. Mental strength is built when excuses are refused, not once, but repeatedly. Every time you say to an excuse, you grow stronger. Every time you choose action over comfort, you grow. Every time you move forward despite resistance, you build character. And character is what determines destiny, because talent without discipline collapses, and dreams without action disappear. Think about your future self, that person you want to become, that life you want to build, that success you want to reach. It isn't waiting for perfect conditions. It's waiting for stronger decisions. Your future is created by what you refuse to excuse today. So eliminate mental weakness. Stop entertaining excuses. Stop negotiating with delay. Stop letting comfort lead your decisions, because every excuse accepted today becomes a limitation tomorrow. But every excuse rejected today becomes strength for your future. Choose carefully. Will you protect your comfort or will you protect your future? Because you cannot protect both. Reject excuses. Build discipline. Strengthen your mind. And step into the life you are capable of creating. The power of focus. Where your focus goes, your life follows. Focus isn't just attention, it's direction. It's power. It's life itself, concentrated into a single point. Because what you focus on grows. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on fear, you'll feel more fear. If you focus on distraction, you'll become scattered. But if you focus on growth, you'll grow. If you focus on discipline, you'll become disciplined. If you focus on your goals, you'll move toward them. It's simple, but it isn't easy. Success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things with full focus. Your mind is constantly under attack, not physically but mentally. Notifications, noise, social comparison, endless information, constant interruption. And every distraction pulls you a little further from your future. But progress requires something different. Concentration, deep thinking, deep work, deep commitment. Because scattered energy produces scattered results. Successful people aren't necessarily doing more than everyone else. They're simply more focused. While others jump from one thing to another, they stay with one direction, one goal, one purpose. The disciplined mind is a focused mind. Focus isn't accidental. It's trained, it's protected, it's chosen. Every day, you decide what gets your attention, and what gets your attention gets your life. If you give your attention to meaningless distractions, your life becomes small. But if you give your attention to meaningful work, your life expands. Here's a truth most people miss. You don't need more time. You need more focus, because focused effort multiplies time, while distracted effort wastes it. Think about a magnifying glass. Sunlight scattered does nothing, but sunlight focused can create fire. That's your life. Scattered attention creates no impact, but focused attention creates transformation. Ask yourself honestly, what's stealing your focus? What's weakening your attention? What's pulling you away from your goals? Because anything that steals your focus steals your future. Make a decision. Protect your attention. Guard your time. Eliminate distractions, not sometimes, not when convenient, but daily. Because focus is a discipline, and discipline creates results. Every moment of focus is a step forward. Every moment of distraction is a step backward. And over time, those steps define your life. So choose wisely. Focus on what matters. Focus on what builds you. Focus on what moves you forward. Because success doesn't belong to the busiest person. It belongs to the most focused one. Where focus goes, progress follows. Stay focused, stay disciplined, stay committed, and watch your life move in the direction of your attention. Master your mind, master your life. Your life will always reflect the condition of your mind. Everything we've talked about comes back to one truth. Discipline isn't something you do once. It's something you become. A disciplined mind, a focused mind, a controlled mind. Because when your mind is controlled, your life becomes controlled. When your thoughts are clear, your actions become clear. When your decisions are strong, your results become strong. Success is predictable. It isn't luck and it isn't magic. It's hard work and discipline. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for life to become easy. Train your mind every day, little by little, step by step. Because every disciplined thought, every disciplined decision, every disciplined action is building your future. And remember this, you don't need a different life to start. You need a different mindset, a stronger mindset, a disciplined mindset, a committed mindset. Because once your mind changes, everything begins to change. Master your mind, master your habits, master your future, and keep moving forward no matter what.